Hello, students, families, and other community members. Welcome to the Summit Public Schools Hilltopper University website. This site will provide families with information and support to access resources in the schools and classrooms. We believe it is an equitable partnership among families, educators, and community partners to promote children's learning. I am Matt Santos, a literacy coach in Summit. In this video, Jackie Arturi, our instructional facilitator, and I will be offering you a guided tour of the website. Thank you for joining us. When you first visit the website, you will land on the homepage. This is the homepage here. Up top, you will find a navigation bar where it says Home, Literacy, Math, Science, and Social Studies. Under each of these categories that has a drop-down arrow, you will find different subpages with more information. Today in the video, we will be exploring each of these together. As you scroll down the homepage, you will also find pictures, job titles, and email addresses for all of us. Jackie Arturi, our instructional facilitator, Caitlin Crimmins, literacy coach, Stacy Kaplan, literacy coach, and me, Matt Santos, literacy coach. Let's keep exploring. Let's head back up to the top of the homepage. When you get back up to the navigation bar, if you hover over literacy and click there, it will bring you to the literacy homepage. The purpose of this site is to have a place for parents, teachers, and students to find resources to help support literacy education. These resources are for students in kindergarten through 5th grade. So, you can go to the drop-down arrow here and click the subsection that you want to explore. There's reading, writing, grammar and mechanics, vocabulary, and phonological and phonemic awareness. There is also a special drop-down arrow in front of reading because there's another subpage on summer reading. Let's explore the reading page now. When you get to the reading page, there are several resources for you to check out. The first series of resources are parent guides. For example, What is Reading? Or Reading 101, a guide for parents. As you continue to head down, there are websites that you might want to explore, like Storyline Online, or even printable resources to help kids, such as reading strategies and decoding bookmarks. If we return up to the navigation bar and hover over literacy again, we can click that drop-down arrow in front of reading to find the summer reading page and click there. When you land on the summer reading page, you will find links to websites like Reading Rockets, Scholastic, and the Summit Free Public Library, as well as a place for book recommendations for kindergarten to 5th grade. From here, we can head back up to the navigation bar, hover over literacy, and head to the writing subpage. When you land on the writing subpage, you will find several links to helpful websites, such as Read, Write, Think, Reading Rockets, and Teach Writing. You're probably going to notice that Reading Rockets is linked on many of our subpages. Reading Rockets has many helpful resources to support children at home. The next subpage we're going to explore is the Grammar and Mechanics subpage. When you land here, you will first find websites such as No Red Ink, Khan Academy, and the Scholastic blog that has 5 apps to help kids learn grammar and punctuation. If you scroll down, you will also find links to games such as Grammar Gorillas, Education.com, and Reading Eggs. Our next subpage is the Vocabulary subpage. When you land here, you will first find a link to websites such as Reading Rockets, Understood, and Speech Buddies. All of these will give you advice on supporting vocabulary at home. Then below that, you'll find links to vocabulary games like Education.com, PBSKids.org, and Your Dictionary. From here, we'll head to our final literacy subpage, which is for phonological and phonemic awareness, one of my favorite literacy topics. When you land here, you'll find websites that will provide you with more information about phonological and phonemic awareness, like Reading Rockets or Understood.org. If you continue to scroll down, you'll find games that you can print out at home, including Picture Slide, See It, Say It, and Say and Slide. All of these games help support phonemic awareness.
Hello and welcome. My name is Jackie Arturi, and I'm the instructional facilitator here in Summit. I'm here to talk about Hilltopper University's tabs on math, science, and social studies. These tabs in math, science, and social studies have resources and tips and strategies for parents, for students, and for teachers. I'm going to start with the math section first. Our math section has a couple of categories to visit. Ways to support your children at home is one of those sections where you can find articles and tips and strategies on homework and problem solving, fractions, some websites to visit, fun things you can do at home, a video on what math looked like this year, and ways to help your students with fact fluency. I've even provided some games that you can print and play at home, some enrichment websites that you can go to challenge your students in math, and the Museum of Math is a place to visit too to learn some activities that are going on there that you can visit virtually and possibly in person soon. Another section that we have is math resources. This section of the math are the resources that our staff uses to implement the standards. So we have the standards that are required by the state, we have our textbook, and we have other resources that we use in the classroom to support that instruction. That's virtual manipulatives, math workshop, and that structure that we're using. Some other parent resources there for you, and some other websites that we visit that we can use to help with instruction. The next section is games. Here we talk about the importance of games to help students in math. It's a fun way to practice the math and understand mathematical reasoning. These are monthly featured games, so they will be switched each month, and they are also by grade level. So you can see some of the important skills that students should be working on in those grade levels. So these are games that your students can go on to and play at home. I've also provided some card games. So if you'd rather have more hands-on, here's some card games. You just need a deck of cards. And board games are always a great way of promoting math in your home. These are some ideas of some math games that maybe you already have in your house. The next section is our literacy and math. We like to integrate our subject areas, so bringing literacy into math is always a great way to promote math. So I have some suggestions on books that you can read based on topics. So I have them here. These books will probably be available at your libraries, but also could be found if you wanted to purchase them through either a bookstore or Amazon. Another way to enhance math is to have students write about math. And what I provided here for you is some prompts that you can use with your students if you want your students to practice their mathematical reasoning. The next section that we have is summer resources. So we're coming to a close this year. So what I'm providing for each grade level is those skills that were important for that grade level, and then just some practice sheets, practice activities that you can print out and have your students work on to just review everything that they learned this year. Some of the grade levels are still being worked on, so they're coming soon. So look for that by the end of June. And that is the end of our math section. Okay, now for the science tab. So again, like the math, we are here to provide some resources, tips, and strategies for science, for parents and teachers and students. So we have a couple of categories here for you. First is the STEAM activities for home. This website will explain what STEAM is, and then we provided some monthly featured STEAM activities by grade level. So from kindergarten through fifth grade are some activities you could try at home with your children. And then there's a website here to visit if you're interested in some more activities like that. The next category is websites. These are just websites that you could visit to learn more about some interesting topics like space, virtual field trips to different places in nature, Bill Nye the Science Guy, coding, and PBS Science Kid has some great videos to watch. The next is science books. Like the math, we like to integrate subjects. So if your children like to read, then they could read about science. And so I have it by grade level. So a suggestion of a book to read based on the standards. This will be added to throughout the year. So keep looking back for some new books. Then we have our science resources that the district uses to implement those standards and skills. We have the next generation science standards. We have the New Jersey standards. And then we also use Mystery Science and Brain Pop to support our instruction. And the last is our science activities. These are places that your children can visit if they want to learn more about topics like states of matter and planets. National Geographic Science Games, there's games there that have to do with science. And then Science for Fun is a great website to go to for some experiments. So that is all about our science. And for social studies, here's our tab for social studies. So in our tab, we have a couple categories to share. We have our celebrate tab or category. And on here, we'll have some special celebrations. We just had Black History Month, so we'll have some information there to learn a little bit more about. We had Women's History Month, and I'll continually add on to that during the school year. So come back and visit. We also have our virtual field trips. I know that it's hard for us to visit some of these beautiful places around our country and our world. So this is a place you can come to go on a virtual field trip. So you can go and see Washington, D.C., National Museum of Natural History, Ellis Island are just a few. And again, we'll keep adding to that as well. And some websites to visit to learn a little bit more about geography. Or National Geographic Kids has some great articles and activities to visit as well. And that's our social studies. So I want to thank you for visiting our Hilltopper University. Any questions, please reach out. I hope you enjoy.
Thank you, Jackie, for sharing about the math, science, and social studies sections. One last piece of information to share is that this website is viewable and formatted for a computer, a tablet, and mobile devices such as cell phones. So you can explore it and check it out on any device that you have. On behalf of the literacy coaches, myself, Stacy Kaplan, and Caitlin Crimmins, we thank you for visiting, and we hope you come back to explore some more with us. Have a great day.